If you would have to go overall rival, and if you held me, I mean, you got to go with Texas, just
Okay.
because of the history, the Southwest Conference. Now most hated team, that's Missouri. Arkansas hates Missouri. It
I
Matt
is.
is
I'll
applaud
thrilled
say
that.
right
it.
now.
I love
And,
it.
and I'll say this: if it was not a forced rivalry, if they didn't try to make up this borderline trophy, try to make it a rivalry, I think it would have had more of that rivalry feel. But I'm old school. A rivalry to me is if you want to beat somebody just as much as you want to beat them. Missouri hates Arkansas just as much as Arkansas hates Missouri. So overall, yes, you can say Texas, but when you go to that Missouri team, there, I mean, that to me is a true rivalry now. And
Gotcha.
I know Arkansas hasn't done so well against Missouri, but Eli wants to beat Arkansas just as much as Sam wants to beat Eli. That's just how it is right now. And but it goes into basketball and recruiting and every aspect. So
Right.
yeah, the unpopular, if you would say, is Missouri. But if you ask a majority of the fan base, it's Texas. But they just have a lot of respect. I mean, you just want to beat them, but you can't say nothing about the fans or blah, blah, blah. Missouri, you can. You want to beat them and the fans suck. I mean, that's just the way it is, you know? So
I hear you.
What are your thoughts then on Eli Drinkwitz? I'm just curious.
Is this edited? What? I mean, is this going on?
You can say what you want. I can mark it E if
Honestly,
I need to.
look, I can't say much because, well, I will, but I can't because the fact that they just beat Arkansas up and down and blah, 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 and the cigars, but which you have the right to. I just think he's the biggest douchebag when it comes to his arrogance and the cigars and all this, but then you get blown out. You think you're this team, but then you get blown out by A&M. Then you get blown out by Bama. And then this is the kicker. This is what makes him the biggest douchebag of all time. Last week, Brady Cook goes to the hospital. He treats him like he's Willis Reed, comes back and saves the day. And then 34-0. Now you're talking about you wish you had Alabama's quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I saw
and
that.
for me, I was saying it this weekend as we were watching Brady Cook, who obviously went out more for his hand than anything. To me, that is so irresponsible to have a player go to the hospital and then come back in a game and then start after not having practice. To me,
Right, all week. Yeah.
be the adult and don't set a precedent of, yep, just put your body on the line. It's okay. No, take care of yourself.
But what about
feel
Toughness
that
Tuesday
value.
and circling the wagons and all that stuff?
Well, to me, that's just flim flam, right? Because
It is.
if you were circling the wagons, you would protect the child that's
Right.
there. And you would set an example and say, like, I value you and your ability to continue to play this game.
Right.
I'm not going to let you do that.
Yeah.
You're worth more to me than this is.
Well, we know that's all a bunch of BS, though. I mean, look, getting paid millions. They don't, and they're more salty now that the player's getting paid. So, here's the thing. I mean, that you're making money in now. So if you want to go out and ride that horse that he went, and you can't sit there next week turn on him just because you got beat 34-0. That's where I had the film where he was talking to the Alabama player, or whoever he was talking about. If I had a quarterback like that, this would be different. You can't do that. That's where I have a problem with it.
He's throwing him under the bus, kind of like Hugh Freeze did earlier with both of his quarterbacks earlier this year.
I gotta tell you, I'm
the quarterback. There were so many things that Missouri didn't do right. It didn't matter.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
I want to state unequivocally for the record that if this is turning into an Eli Drinkwitz dump party, I'm all for it. In fact, I welcome it. I can't. Him and Shane Beamer are public enemy number 1 and number 2 in my book. So I'm
Beamer's
there.
little brother to me. I can't. He's got to beat us before he can sit there and talk about us. So that's one of them things. It's.
Porter, I'm going to Twitter right now and dropping you a follow. Let's continue. Everything you're saying, I'm picking up, so I'm there.
The only thing Shane Beamer ever won at South Carolina was a jar of mayonnaise. It's just that's all he's ever won.
It's pretty gross.
Gross.
Yeah. So it's funny that you say that both of those teams, Porter, because a couple of weeks ago we had an LSU fan on the podcast, and I asked him the same question, and I said, "What about the boot with Arkansas?" He's like, "It's not a big deal." And so you're
Yeah.
saying the same thing. It's mutual.
It's no, well, no, I won't say that. I mean, it's one of those rivalries. I'm a realist. I mean, Arkansas sees that rivalry just like we'd see the Texas rivalry, but it's not reciprocated.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you're going on just the Arkansas fan point, yes, I mean, you could throw LSU in there. But look, if you would ask me this when they still played that game after Thanksgiving,
Right.
LSU's up there because that game was magical. That game
Right.
was in War Memorial. Now we lost that, and we're losing games in War Memorial, but a lot of that has to do with your playing in Jerry World. So
Right.
you got to think Arkansas didn't play a home game until week 5 because War Memorial away, Dallas away, so no, the LSU game back in the day when Arkansas was winning was it, you could sit there and say as an LSU fan, it wasn't a rivalry, but it was.
Yeah.
It lost a lot of the luster when they gave it to A&M and LSU and made Arkansas play Missouri after Thanksgiving. So that's where in the beginning it wasn't Missouri, but now it is. But yeah, I totally respect anybody on the LSU side because they're more the historical. It'd be like saying Arkansas wants to beat Georgia or Tennessee or Alabama all the time, and then we're wondering why don't y'all want to beat us? Well, we're not on the level of those teams, so we have to respect if the other side of it doesn't see us as that true rival.
Y'all used to be on the level though. I remember playing Arkansas in the those early 2000s up until probably like 2011.
After DMAC,
oh my God. It was,
and then Bobby Petrino. Yeah.
It was nuts. I mean, it was like, I remember being terrified of Ryan Mallett. Just, rest in peace. But it was nuts.
Oh, when they threw that wheel route again, Wingo, and that was the loudest you've ever heard that stadium. I mean, it was just, but again, they were dangerous. It's just, you had Houston Nutt when you had DMAC and, 98, they almost had it. If it wasn't, that was the best, Tennessee moment ever,
man,
gave them a national championship, so you can thank us. We want half of that, so.
Hey, I'll share it with you right now. I got no animosity, no angst, anything against Arkansas. I like the Hogs now. And I love Sam Pittman. I've always liked
Sam Pittman.